During the 2020s, the European taxonomy and funding schemes for sustainable practices did not steer the construction market as expected. Industry fragmentation, new risks, and no common gains prevented collaboration between public and private entities. Europe failed to meet the climate targets by 2030. However, countries like Singapore were successful. Following their example, European governments implement binding targets for emissions and resources in order to adapt to the consequences of climate change. Public governments are now actively working to provide better living conditions for their inhabitants and make huge investments on green public infrastructure and housing. The private sector, however, is suffering the consequences of a highly regulated market, with a high risk of stranded assets and properties often changing owner. Architecture now relies on standardized, prefabricated and scalable solutions, as it complies with new building codes. The need to comply with the binding requirements on sustainability has changed the required skill set in architects, who are now less constrained in design but more engaged into industrialization processes. State-approved companies who must comply with all the requirements are preferred. In this competitive market, only the strong survive and profit from the margins of developing big sites. Europe is slowly adapting to the consequences of climate change. However, the building sector, stuck between certifications and standardization, does not seem to catch up with other industrialized sectors.